The following is a hockey podcast out of Vancouver and Surrey, British Columbia. It'll only consist of a lot of puck talk and even more BS, or in actual words, banter and satire. Enjoy, and as always, go Canucks go.
Everyone hates the Edmonton Oilers. What? No. Everyone hates the Vancouver Canucks. We hate the Edmonton Oilers, which is all that matters, okay? For real. Think about it. And think about it again. Again, it's all that matters. AKA, what's the word? That's not the one. The Edmonton Oilers.
Your Locked On Canucks, your daily podcast on the Vancouver Canucks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
People, aka everyone watching this, the Vancouver Canucks, your Vancouver Canucks, the Vancouver Canucks fans, we hate the Edmonton Oilers, okay? It's just the truth. Welcome to Locked On Canucks. My name's Kyle Bowen. We're at the Don't Doze Art Lab, and man, oh man, it's about to happen. A series that we've been all waiting for. That is just the truth. The birth of a rivalry, right? Is this the first time these two have played each other in the playoffs since 1992? Yo, I was in my dad's ball sack, okay? For real, think about it. I was born in 1993. I was swimming. I wasn't here. And we're finally going to get it. Something that matters in the NHL, and that's competitive, heated matchups between Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, Zach Hyman, and company versus Quinn Hughes, JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, Brock Besser, Elias Lindholm, Connor Garland, Dakota Joshua, Nikita Zadorov, Filip Hronek, Artur Shilov, Thatcher Demko, and company. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? A lot of star power here. In the rivalry, it's going to be a thing. This is going to be the best hockey you and I and you and you and you are going to witness in quite some time, okay? It's just the truth. The Edmonton losers, the Edmonton Oilers, a.k.a. the favorite, according to a lot of people, right? I think 98% of the hockey world is picking the Oilers over the Vancouver Canucks. I think 23 people on ESPN out of 24 said just that. I just heard the Spittin Chicklets Podcast this morning, and man, oh man, they went off on the Vancouver Canucks and their fans. And nobody is giving the Vancouver Canucks a chance. And can we talk about that just for a bit? Because it makes a little bit of sense, right? Did this team score like 14 goals in 6 games against Nashville? Did Elias Pettersson have 3 points only against Nashville? Did our power play suck against Nashville? Yes, and yes. Is Nashville a smaller beast than the Edmonton Oilers? Of course, right? And I know Artur Shilov's looked really good. But let's face it, the players taking shots on Shilov's are a lot different than the ones that are about to take shots on Artur Shilov's. There's a lot of truth in some of the doubt people have against your Vancouver Canucks. That being said, it's a whole new series. And one of which that again has the likes of Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid playing hockey, aka 2 players that I think will bring out the best in our two number 1 centers, JT Miller and Elias Pettersson. Yes, I said that right. Because reminder, people, when things are going, this team, unlike a lot of teams across the league, have 2 number 1 centers. And those 2 guys, right? Miller and Pettersson, your guys, about to get inspired, about to raise their games, about to take their games to places they didn't think existed. Because that's what happens when you play against the best, and they are clearly playing against the best come Wednesday at Rogers Arena. Man, oh man, I cannot wait for this series. Hey, one love to you and you and you and you and you and you for joining us today. A bit of an unorthodox episode of Locked On Canucks. I'm scrambling. A busy day at the studio. Trevor Beggs not able to join us because of Wi-Fi issues, right? He's in the woods. So I'm a bit all over the place. We'll make it up throughout the week. But I'm excited to have you and you and you and you and you and you here, because if Trevor's not here, I'm going to have to rely on a lot on you guys to get me through this episode, okay? For real. For real. This all being said, Trevor did record his thoughts on the series, and we'll play that in about 5 minutes, okay? We will. SK93 asking, the Woods? What do you mean the Woods? Do you mean Cloverdale? No, Trevor's in Washington right now with the family because he is the second best dad in the world, and he has taken, well, I should say he's making the most of his time, right? I've never seen a guy more in the moment than Trevor Beggs. You could learn a lot from a guy like that. Not just hockey knowledge, okay? It's his philosophy, and yeah, he's in the woods, teaching his kids what's best, spending time with his lovely wife, and yeah, one love to you, Trevor. Enjoy your time. Anyways, Elias Pettersson, right? Elias Pettersson. Gonna learn a lot from this series, okay? You're talking about a guy that, if you think the doubt was on this guy in round one, if you thought the noise was elevated in round one, man, oh man, this guy has not seen anything yet. If he continues to play at that point per game level, well, that lack of point per game level, right? What is he at? 3 points in 6 games. If he continues to play like this against Edmonton when everyone's watching, bro, it's gonna get ugly. But thankfully, I think well, that's saying, right? Winning fixes everything. Allows a guy like Pettersson to see the truth, right? And it may allow him to block the noise out and ultimately just focus on hockey. Speaking of which, this guy's going to be playing hockey against Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl game in and game out. If you backtrack 12 to 13 months ago, I mean, there's not a world where Pettersson is in the same world or same tier as Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl, but we're talking about Pettersson being a top 5 player, a top 7 player, a top 10 player. He's getting paid like a top 5 player. Again, he's one of those guys, and right now he isn't. And that may motivate him. He may want to get back to that level ASAP and not wait until next season, not wait until an off season, not wait until, he finds a sports psychologist or he, has a different off-season training plan. You know what I'm saying? Because this is the ultimate test. You're playing the best players in the world. You're the most competitive guy. You said it in that interview with Elliot Friedman, who we'll get to in a couple of minutes. And it's all in front of you. The dog, the real dog in you, the alien in you, has a chance to come out because of what you will be witnessing game in and game out from your level, from your vantage point. And that's, again, Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. And I know I say Leon's name a lot, but let's be honest, okay? In the last 2 years of watching playoff hockey, game in and game out, there's probably not a better player in the league than Leon Draisaitl in the playoffs. And this is gonna be really evident, not just based on the scoring chances that he provides, but the amount of POS behavior that guy brings to the game. It just equates playoffs. And again, Pettersson is going to be witness to that, have a front row seat of that. And I believe, because I know Pettersson's a dog, I know Pettersson has a lot to give to the game. I know Pettersson played pretty good, especially in the last 90 seconds of that game against Nashville in Game 6. I feel as if the combination of Game 6 against Nashville and what we're going to see against the Oilers and what he's going to see shift in and shift out is going to become a catalyst for something we haven't seen in a long time. And that's our second number one center playing like a number one center. And if that's the case, the Vancouver Canucks have a good chance, a really good chance to win this series against the Edmonton Oilers. Because I feel as if you connect that and you attach that to our defense, straight up our defense, those guys, Hronek Hughes, Zadorov, Soucy, Myers, Ian Cole, guys that are playing very, very strong right now. Dude, this team definitely has the recipe to do something pretty special. And more notably, upset the Edmonton Oilers. As Andrew was saying, okay, Edmonton doesn't have a big Z. Just the truth. Just the truth. Kurt Richardson saying, fair tail, Kyle. You feeling okay? Fair take, Kyle. You feeling okay? I guess I'm feeling okay. I'm all over the place. It's a Monday. I'm scrambling. Didn't know we had to do the episode like this, but we doing it. And I'm emotional, right? I'm hearing people talk a lot of shit. Oh, I was about to swear there. A lot of ish about the Vancouver Canucks. And I get it because, we did play Nashville, and Nashville was Nashville, and we were pretty lucky to play Nashville. But this is a whole new series. It's just the truth. A whole new series, a whole new slate of games. A longer runway is now presented for Pettersson to find his game. Again, he is the biggest X factor going into a series where we're facing two of the best players in hockey, and we still don't have Thatcher Demko. For some time, like there's rumors that he won't be in round two goaltender at any point. There's rumors that it'll come midway through the series. Who knows what's going to happen? At the end of the day, though, again, there's a runway here for Pettersson to find his game, and he needs to do it. Look at this comment from Andrew, okay? We have a much better defense. That is the truth. Collectively speaking. I also do think guys like Miller, Besser, Pettersson, and company, Garland, they're going to exploit guys like Evan Bouchard, okay? It's just the truth. Just the truth. Look at this comment from Evan. Vancouver in 4 or 5. Man, oh man, the optimism. I love it, man. I love it. David D. Anderson saying, I see a huge upset for Vancouver. Of course we do, man. Home of the West Coast bias, right? Locked on Canucks. We got to think like this. And it is fair for me to, again, put a lot of pressure on Elias Pettersson, right? Because it's not like the elephant in the room. It's the alien in the room. There's a big reason, again, why everyone's doubting the Vancouver Canucks, and it's because that guy has 3 points in his last 6 games, and probably has, if my math is correct, this guy might have like 27 points in his last 44 games. He's got to wake up for us to have a chance in this series. I do want to sprinkle in some more feeling about my whole theory about this Canucks decor being strong enough to potentially maybe not stop McDavid and Draisaitl, but do more quote unquote damage than the Kings did. But we'll get to that maybe in 10 to 15 minutes. Because again, we do have a recording of Trevor talking about this series just a bit. We'll try getting Trevor on live tomorrow so we can get back to regular programming. Thankfully, we do have a long time in between games here. And man, oh man, we're playing hockey in the second round against the Edmonton Oilers. This is going to be the best hockey you've seen in a long time. Straight up, we're blessed. And I'm telling you right now, everyone watching this, we're winning the series. And if there's people in Edmonton watching this and they're pissed off at me because of my voice and my theories and my predictions, yo, I hope you stub your toe on a block of ice on your way to your car in the middle of May, okay? Straight up. Go eat a donair. Shove a donair. You know what I'm saying? I was gonna say something pretty rude there, but it's not the show, okay? Again, this is the home of the West Coast bias. Let's get to some ads, and then we'll get to Trevor, and then we'll talk more about defense, man, because my dad told me something, and it makes a lot of sense. Anyways, you're listening to Locked On Canucks.
Passion, drive, and patience. The formula for winning championships is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors is everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts to choose from for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time or your money back. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash, baby. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to make your car the MVP and bring home huge wins. Keep your ride or die at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only, exclusions by eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. All right, game off. We got to pause here and talk more about Monopoly Go. I know what you're saying. Flag on the play. You already talked about that. But there's just so much good stuff in this game. In Monopoly Go, you can team up with friends for timed tournaments where you work together to build up each other's boards. The more you win together, the more awesome prizes you unlock. So much to get, including unique stickers you can trade with friends to complete albums for big prizes, cool new playing pieces to travel the board with, and hilarious emojis for taunting friends when you smash their buildings or heist their vaults. Plus, Monopoly Go feels new and exciting every day with constantly changing tournaments and challenges. A ton include their own unique mini games like digging for treasure or a robot pachinko machine. And there's always new events that help you win big, like massive multipliers for everything you win or rent frenzies. There's always something fun to discover in Monopoly Go. So get off the bench and go download it now free on Google Play or the App Store. Game on!
People, we back here at the Don't Those Art Lab talking about your Vancouver Canucks in a unorthodox episode, okay? Did not expect this to happen this morning without Trevor Beggs. And I'm doing my best, okay? These Monday episodes are hard enough. You should have seen the weekend I had this weekend. It was probably the most extraordinary, overwhelming weekend I've had in my life. And now I'm here doing the morning show, and I'm probably missing a couple cues I got to say for the Locked On Podcast Network. And I want to say I'm sorry about that, okay? I really am. One love to FanDuel, one love to Sleeper, one love to eBay Motors, one love to all our sponsors. And man, oh man, the Edmonton Oilers are about to face off against your Vancouver Canucks. And for the fourth time, this is going to be the best series you've seen in quite some time. The NHL, very lucky to have this go on. Now, Trevor Beggs is going to have more to say about this series in 1 or 2 minutes. His segment is loading in. It's taking in some time. And I wanted to get to a comment, okay? There was a really good comment. One love to our people. I think it came from the captain himself, okay? Captain Popeye Sailor, okay? If you're not in the Discord, join the Discord. Talk about the Vancouver Canucks while you're on the toilet. And Popeye, man, this dude brings the leadership. And look at what he's saying here, okay? He doubts that Edmonton will target Quinn Hughes or the goalie. They will play hockey. I can see a few cheap shots, but nothing like the Predators, okay? Let's be more specific and just center in on that point about the targeting of Quinn Hughes, okay? Because that happened and Nashville executed. They did a really good job. Quinn Hughes was not the player that we're used to. A big reason why our offense was stale because the best puck mover on our team, the guy who starts the transition, the engine of our team, was getting used to playoff hockey, okay? Was overthinking things just a bit. Wasn't as instinctual as he normally was. Now, Quinn Hughes was still really good in that series, but that's because, again, Quinn Hughes is just extraordinary, okay? When he's not at his best, he's still better than your defenseman. You know what I'm saying? This all being said, it's making me think about the Canucks' approach to playing Connor McDavid, okay? And I know that every team in the past and every team in the future will attempt to do similar things to McDavid, and that's not necessarily injure him, but in a playoff series, teams do want to quote-unquote hurt him. They want to slow him down. They want to make him play with pain. Straight up, they want him to be less instinctual because of the injury he may have, right? Or a bruise he may have. And the Canucks have to get a licking on Connor McDavid if they can. I'm sure a lot of players in the past have tried, and Connor McDavid drives past them like a Ferrari, right? He just kind of impossible to hit. But if they can do it, and if they can bruise him up a bit, it bodes well. It really does. Now, who's going to be that guy? A lot of people looking at Nikita Zadorov being that guy, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us tend to believe that Zadorov may have the book on McDavid based on how many games they played against each other, but I think it's the other way around, okay? Let's be real. If Zadorov is constantly chasing for hits against Connor McDavid, if he's doing that and he's always on the ice against Connor McDavid, I'm not sure that bodes well. I may be wrong on that. I've been wrong many times. Nikita Zadorov playing for a contract. Nikita Zadorov playing probably the best hockey of his career. Maybe this is a new version of Zadorov that McDavid has never faced before, thus making a connection between those two physically a possibility. But at this moment, I have to say that it has to be a collective team effort, okay? They have to collectively, like the Nashville Predators did against Quinn Hughes, make it a point of emphasis to be extremely physical on Connor McDavid. I'll also add this to the equation too, right? And we don't see this often. We didn't see it that often against Nashville because of the potential injury to Quinn Hughes. But man, oh man, I feel as if we need Quinn Hughes to play a lot more minutes in this series. We're talking about the skating. We're talking about the Norris candidate. We're talking about our number one defenseman. That guy's going up against the Edmonton Oilers now. McDavid, Draisaitl. We need his minutes, injured or not, to go all the way up. And we need him to be on the ice a lot against McDavid. It's just the truth. I want to see that matchup. I want to see Quinn Hughes versus Connor McDavid a lot in this series. And I'm pretty sure Quinn Hughes wants to see that as well. And we'll talk more about that over the next 2 days, okay, when we get Beggsy online, because he's the smart one. He's going to break it all down. But before we do that, why don't we go to Trevor right now, okay? He's in the woods. He has some words on this series. Again, you're listening to Locked On Canucks. Apologies for all the technical difficulties and the whatnots. But man, oh man, we're doing it on this Monday, man. It's a beautiful thing talking about round 2 playoff games against our new rivals, the Edmonton Oilers. Man, oh man, I cannot wait. Anywho, this is Trevor Beggs again on this series.
What's going on, Locked On Canucks family? It's Trevor Beggs recording to you live from Leavenworth, Washington, okay? And hey, guess what? I'm in the most German town in the United States, and you know what? The Canucks are about to face the best German NHLer in NHL history, okay? There's some parallels, okay? But again, started the family road trip, got in about an hour here to, talk to you about the series. And, the Vancouver Canucks are going to be underdogs, massive underdogs, and rightly so, okay? You might have seen the graphic already. Kyle sent it to me in the group chat, but 23 of 24 writers at ESPN.com are picking the Edmonton Oilers to beat the Vancouver Canucks. And a lot of them didn't even have it close, okay? A lot of Oilers in 5 comments in there as well. And you can see the rationale, okay? I'm going to tell you some reasons to believe in the blue and green, but let's start with the rationale. And it's pretty obvious. Pretty much every team that goes on to win the Stanley Cup has to go through some pain at some point, right? We saw it with the Colorado Avalanche. I don't know if we really saw it with the Vegas Golden Knights, but I guess it took them into year 6 of existence to finally pull it off. And with this Edmonton team, right, they've gone through that pain. There's a strong argument that now is their time, okay? And their stars showed up in round 1, okay? McDavid, 2 goals, 11 assists. Draisaitl, 5 goals, 10 points in 5 games. Their top players were electric. But this is a Vancouver Canucks team that, again, had 7 more points than the Edmonton Oilers in the regular season. And this is the reason why you go out and you win the division. You play until game 82. You don't take your foot off the gas. You have a strong start. Things that we just haven't seen in Vancouver for a long time. And the Oilers were, certainly after the coaching change, one of the best teams, if not the best team in the NHL. Points aside, I mean, they were electric. They figured it out defensively. Stuart Skinner seemed to find his game. Everything started to go right for that team. But guess what? For the most part, things are going right for your Vancouver Canucks all season long. Improbably, okay? Again, most pundits picked the Vancouver Canucks to miss the playoffs. So what happened? They had 109 points and they won the Pacific Division. There's reason to believe in this Canucks team, okay? It's been an improbable season. It was, in a lot of ways, even though many predicted them to beat Nashville, an improbable round 1 win, okay? They had to do it without their star player going in Elias Pettersson. They had to do it with the 3rd-string netminder who had 9 career starts coming into these playoffs. Maybe destiny's just on the Vancouver Canucks side, man. Maybe. Just maybe. And I know Kyle will probably do a better job breaking it down. I hope to join him at some point this week as, I'm hopping around here on the road. But let's talk about the positives, okay? Why the Vancouver Canucks can beat the Edmonton Oilers and a couple of short reasons why. Let's start with the penalty kill, okay? Because let me get something straight. You're not going to shut down the Oilers penalty kill or the Oilers power play. But you can slow them down, if that makes sense, right? They were clicking at near 50% against the LA Kings in round 1. A big reason why they went on to beat the LA Kings in 5 games. Now, the Vancouver Canucks, one of the best facets of their game in round 1 was the penalty kill. And again, you could say, yeah, it was a Nashville power play, but this was a power play in Nashville that was the 2nd best power play in the NHL in the second half of the regular season, or since the All-Star break, I should say. So the Vancouver Canucks did a great job against a sublime power play, okay? A power play that was hot, that was feeling it coming into the postseason, and they shut them down with what? One of their 2 power play goals being a bit of a garbage goal by Roman Josi with the whole goal interference shenanigans. So the Canucks, with the strong PK, are going to get themselves a chance in this series. And you want to talk about the style of play too, okay? The Oilers, in terms of the fancy stats, are the best team in the NHL this season, right? Best expected goals for, blah, blah, blah. But the Canucks, especially in the second half of the season,
were really one of the best defensive teams in the NHL. They were right up there with the Carolina Hurricanes in terms of the quality of shots and the quantity of shot attempts that they allowed against. And again, we're talking about an Edmonton team that is deeper than years past, both on the forward and on the defense. That being said, this is not a bottom six that scares you, right? It's not a bottom six that scares you. And I think early in the season, we were probably talking trash about the Canucks depth versus the Oilers depth. And the Canucks depth was really coming through in a huge way earlier in the season. Hasn't quite been the case in the second half. But again, that's why you play the games, baby. And you look at the optimistic point of view, and the Canucks, again, were able to get by the Nashville Predators. Again, just the Nashville Predators. Pettersson hasn't shown up. Höglander hasn't shown up. I would say Dakota Joshua, aside from his game one heroics, was not looking like himself necessarily. So there's another level for other guys on this team here to step up and find their way. So the penalty kill, the depth, and let me talk a bit about the goaltending, okay? Because this has been the Achilles heel in Edmonton for quite some time. And Stuart Skinner, he turned around the season, in fairness. I haven't been the biggest Stuart Skinner believer. And even in, game 2 against the LA Kings, I thought he was looking pretty shaky in that game as well. He turned it around this season. But again, goaltending in the NHL, we know it can be a little funny, okay? A little fishy, if you will. And let me give you the numbers, okay? Stuart Skinner, in his career against the Vancouver, okay, he's played 6 games, record with a 5.5 save percentage and a 4.04 goals against, okay? There's some ugly numbers, okay? Some ugly numbers for Stuart Skinner. And yeah, I know he's turned it around this season, blah, blah, blah. Now he's got a career save percentage of 909. Maybe just the Canucks are in his head. And that's one of the things you got to hope for if you're a Canucks fan in this series. Because, again, on paper, there's a reason everyone's picking against the Canucks. Okay, my bad. All right, I cut out there. Chaos for your boy Begsy, okay? You know what? If you have 2 kids under the age of 4 and you're traveling, you know what I'm talking about. And if you don't, well, I'm sorry. It's a lot of work, man. Anyways, I was talking about Stuart Skinner. Has not been great so far in his career against the Vancouver Canucks. And again, it feels weird to say, but could the Canucks potentially have an edge in net? Even 12 NHL starts to his name. Could the Canucks have an advantage in net with Artur Shilovs over Stuart Skinner? I think it's a possibility. I'm not going to say it's a foregone conclusion that Shilovs is going to outperform Stuart Skinner, but it's certainly a possibility. Now, the Oilers, part of the reason Stuart Skinner has been better is because the Oilers have played with more defensive structure, okay? They make it easier for Stuart Skinner to stop pucks. That being said, he still has his moments. You know, he looked great for the Edmonton Oilers against the Kings. I believe it was in Game 4 when they were outshot 32-13. He also looked pretty shaky in Game 2 where the Oilers outshot the Kings, but Stuart Skinner allowed 4 goals on 21 shots or 5 goals on 21 shots, something along those lines. I'm just saying we haven't seen a shaky playoff performance yet from Artur Shilovs, okay? And he's going to be in for it, man, against these Edmonton Oilers, but why not believe in him? Why not? The 18-year-old from Latvia, the 23-year-old from Latvia, married at 18. This guy's got maturity beyond his years. Doesn't seem rattled by the moment. And, you know, I know Stuart Skinner has talked about, you know, mentally he's had to change the way he thinks about the game, how the anxiety would kind of take him over before. And it's hard, right? You could have all the skill in the world, and Edmonton saw it with Jack Campbell as well. You could have all the technical skills in the world to be a great goaltender, but if you're not set between the ears, the moment might be too big for you. And I'm not going to say the moment's not too big for Stuart Skinner, but there's a very good chance it's not too big for Artur Shilovs either. And again, it's going to be a stiff test for the Latvian netminder. But let's see what happens, okay? The Canucks goaltending, the Canucks penalty kill, the Canucks defense may give them a shot in this series. Now, the offense has to step up, and we know exactly who on that offense really needs to step up for your Vancouver Canucks. But for now, let's keep it positive. The Canucks should have a chance against the Edmonton Oilers, okay? Despite what 23 out of 24 pundits at ESPN might tell you. I'm just going to end the segment right here. Canucks in 7. Let's go, baby. Locked on Canucks. Kyle will have you hopefully with some better internet connection, less distractions to wrap up the show. Before we do that, let's shout out some of our friends, okay? Some of our sponsors.
Okay, we're back. Just me and you and you and you. One love to Begsy and his Wi-Fi for doing that, okay? He had to get something off, okay? I watched some of that footage before I put it into the StreamYard library. I saw all that Wi-Fi BS, but it was important to get Trevor Beggs' thoughts out on this episode no matter what, okay? For real, it was, okay? Because there's nobody more excited than Trevor Beggs for this series against the Edmonton Oilers. He's been calling it from the jump. We've been calling it from the jump. You can watch a lot of our videos from October and November, one of which putting the Oilers in the cemetery, right? At the end of the day, though, we put the writing on the wall for this series to happen, for this rivalry to begin. And I think it's going to start something that's going to last for the next 3 to 4 years. And that's some classic hockey being played by these two teams, okay? The Oilers and the Canucks. Begsy touched on a lot of things. I do want to touch on one of the things that he touched on, and it's that whole Shelovs versus Stuart Skinner thing. Again, Demko still a question mark for this series. We had Elliot Friedman saying that he doesn't know if Demko will see the ice in round 2. Then we had Frank Saravelli, I think, saying that there's a distinct possibility that he will play in the middle of this second round. Again, it's all up in the air. So if we're going to be talking about goaltending, we can only really talk about Shelovs versus Stuart Skinner and man-oh-man. The things that I'm seeing from Shelovs is very, very Yarrow Halak-like, maybe Cam Ward-like. You know what I'm saying? You never know. This guy seems to be in flow state. He seems to be a brick wall. He seems to be impossible to beat. He is so calm. He is so poised. He's having fun. And at the same time, he's beginning to get a lot of love from his teammates, okay? And his teammates are about to gain a lot of confidence, even more so with having that guy in net as opposed to Thatcher Demko, right? Because there is a feeling, right? When you have Demko in net, maybe, just maybe, the Canucks feel as if they can play more expressively, right? More instinctually, right? Not having to worry about who's in net. I think that's still the case if Casey DeSmith is back there. But if Shelovs plays really good in game 1, that may break open the floodgates for Pettersson and company to just be a little bit more fluid offensively, okay? Because that guy in net is similar in stature to Thatcher Demko. And I know that's a crazy thing to say because Demko is a Vezina candidate, but we've seen these type of things in the playoffs, right? Goaltenders get hot, and Archer Shelovs right now is extremely hot, okay? It's just the truth. Anyways, let's get to the comments before we get out of here. Again, impromptu episode all over the place, I know. But man, oh man, we're talking about this series, and that's really all that matters. It's just the truth. Well, we'll get back to business tomorrow. Anyways, Andrew, with this comment, and I really like this comment, okay? Big Z plays great positional hockey. About 15 minutes ago, I was talking a bit of ish about Nikita Zadorov, right? Because there's this whole matchup that everyone wants to see, right? Everyone wants to see Nikita Zadorov lay out Connor McDavid, right? These two probably rivals in their own world, played a lot of hockey against each other. Let's see it happen. And there I was saying that, that's probably a matchup the Canucks don't want to use. This all being said, Nikita Zadorov, you want to talk about being fluid. You want to talk about being instinctual. You want to talk about being in flow state. That dude is playing the best hockey of his career. And he's lining people up, as Andrew is saying, right? Maybe, just maybe. Again, McDavid has never played against this version of Zadorov, a better hockey player, better with his timing, better with his positioning. And if you go back to, I think, his hit in game 2, was it game 2 or was it game 5 against Roman Josi? Was it game? No, it was game 3, right? It was game 3, sorry. The hit along the boards in the offensive zone, the amount of force delivered in that hit coinciding with the timing of that hit, positionally speaking, from Zadorov's point of view, right, being a defenseman, going up that high to hit another defenseman was perfect. Perfect. I guess what I'm trying to say is, Nikita Zadorov is a really smart hockey player. That's the truth. Look at this comment from Amphimous, okay? This is where all the additions we made this year start making sense. Our team is beyond capable of dealing with the Edmonton McDavids, okay? I think you're talking about not only Zadorov, but Lindholm, right? Because Lindholm is probably going to see a lot of Connor McDavid. And maybe that's a matchup Tocchet wants to use. And maybe, just maybe, when the games are in Edmonton and we don't have last change, based on our depth at center, you're going to see a lot of Lindholm play against McDavid. And Lindholm playing for a contract. Hey, we saw what Philip Deneau did, right? In the playoffs all those years ago. Being that defensive stalwart, right? Is that how I say that? You say that term? Anyways, if Lindholm can, quote unquote, stop McDavid, dude, he may be in position to do what he wants. And what he wants is, making that JT Miller type money. Not with the Vancouver Canucks, but again, with another team. Because right now, based on how he's playing, I know he's played better. But without that specialty to his game, he's not getting $8 million. He's not even getting 7.5. He's not getting 7. But again, if you can stop a really special player, the most special player in hockey, or do the same with Draisaitl, bro, with everyone watching league-wide, you're gonna be known as a playoff player, a playoff type center, a stopper, and you'll be making bank. Again, a lot riding on Elias Lindholm, individually speaking and team-wise with your Vancouver Canucks. Again, a UFA playing for a lot. The lights are gonna be bright here, and he has a possibility to do something very, very, very special. And as Amphimous is saying as well, Philip Hronek has the same task. Okay, for real. Guy doesn't have a contract. We keep bringing this up because it matters, man. I think I know this. I know this for sure. This is the facts. Okay? Patrick Alvin said that there's a pecking order to things, right? Before Pettersson was signed, right? They got to get Pettersson signed before they can sign anyone else, okay? Pettersson got signed, and nobody else got signed. And maybe, just maybe, Alvin and Rutherford and Tocchet told each other that, you know what? We're not going to give out any term, any money to any of these players that don't have a contract at the end of the season, okay? Let them earn it in the playoffs. Not a bad strategy, not a bad philosophy to squeeze out the most out of players who can really make a name for themselves in the spring, possibly in the summer, okay? If they do make a name for themselves, that means the Canucks are doing really well. Just the truth. How about this from Kurt Richardson? Kurt, man, you're bringing it with the comments today, okay? This series is truly going to be epic. You also brought something up that is really making me think as well. And you said this, okay? Defense wins championships. My father, on Friday night, after we talked, during our conversation after the game, brought up this again. Defense wins championships. And I've heard that as a sports fan forever. I'm 30 and a half years old, okay? That's the oldest cliche in the book. And you know what? When my dad said it at that time on Friday night, it hit different, okay? When he was like, look, son, defense wins championships. It just hit my soul because it made a lot of sense. And it's coming from my mind, right? The sense that was being made. Because prior to all that was going on, I was here pretty pissed off at the lack of offense that the Vancouver Canucks were bringing to the table game in and game out against the Nashville Predators. And what that did was blind me from what the Canucks were doing defensively. And I know, Nashville, Edmonton, two different animals. That's just the truth. Straight up, both these teams are at different ends of the spectrum when it comes to that firepower. That being said, you can't deny the confidence that this team has defensively, because it's not just a one playoff round type of defense that this team has been putting on in recent history. No, it's been since the All-Star game. The fact that the Vancouver Canucks have been one of, if not the best defensive team in hockey. Now to connect it back to the Nashville series, they won a playoff series in the NHL as an inexperienced team with 3 goalies. This defense is superb. And that's why the Vancouver Canucks have a good chance. I know a lot of people out there thinking Vancouver has absolutely no chance. But man, oh man, you're not seeing things the right way. You really aren't. You're not seeing things with that West Coast bias. And I'll say this all the time, okay? It's us against the world. F the ops. Go Canucks go. Soak in that West Coast bias. And let's win this. Let's prove everyone wrong. And let's put an end to this era of Edmonton Oilers hockey, okay? Think about it, because we're going to be talking about that over the next 2 days, because we ain't afraid of the smoke. We ain't afraid of the smoke. We're bringing up that theory, okay? We just got here. The pressure's not on us. And if we beat the Edmonton Oilers, we kill the Edmonton Oilers, if you know what I'm saying. And that would be a beautiful thing. Anyways, my name's Kyle Bowen, KYLEBHAWAN. We're already at the 40-minute mark. We're definitely going to get in trouble for that. But, bro, come on. The Canucks are working overtime. If you really think about it, we're in May playing playoff games against the Edmonton Oilers. We're the underdogs. Let's embrace the hate. Again, my name's Kyle Bowen. One love to the Don't Doze Art Lab for hosting this podcast, giving us the place to give you that West Coast bias. Man, oh, man, those guys really do take care of their neighbors. Hey, how are we going to take care of the world if we, can't take care of our neighbors? One love to the West Coast, the best coast of Canada. Again, the Locked On Podcast Network, doing their thing, instilling that culture, right? Your team every day, a.k.a. your Canucks every day. One love to all our sponsors, giving us some wiggle room here to give you the show. And most importantly, one love to all the listeners, man. You and you and you and you and you and you. You stuck through that. Oh, what type of show was this? It was Locked On Canucks, okay? Have a good morning, a good afternoon, a good night. If you're not watching this live, I don't know when you're watching this, but hey, we appreciate the listen, the watch, and all that jazz. You guys are the best, and go Canucks go.
You're Locked On Canucks,